Oh, it's good to see all of you here tonight. I'm John Zidar. This is October 5th, Tuesday. On behalf of PB Alerts, we've got the alert you want, but we've got the training you need. Check us out. This is on the top and hot. Every day, at least on the weekdays, I go out looking for OTC stocks that are going to run. I like to play the OTC stock. So this is where I do my DD. And I can look at stocks for a variety of reasons, and I really don't care why they're going to run. I'm looking for any reason that they're going to run. So follow me. I'll show you where I'm looking, what I'm looking for, and then we'll take a look at the stocks themselves, the charts, and put it on a list if we think it's going to run. First, let's take a look at the list that we generated yesterday. Now, before we go there, I want to say one thing about my list yesterday. I made a mistake with it. If you were watching, you saw I dismissed a lot of stocks that I couldn't find catalysts for, particularly on the advanced list, the ones that came off the biggest percentage gains of all the OTC stocks across the entire market. I was saying no to because I couldn't find any news catalysts. I couldn't find any filings if they were going current. It just didn't seem like there was anything going on, but there was. One of the primary things that moves a lot of sub-penny stocks and penny stocks are technicals. There's nothing in print, there's no news, there are no filings. It is the fact that somewhere, for some reason, the stock started moving. Lots of volume, a big purchase. Something like that gets other types of traders interested, and it starts moving simply because it was moving. And I overlooked all of those yesterday, and I saw a bunch of the ones I neglected to show you running today. And I'm not going to let that happen again. So, eyes wide open, let's jump into the list yesterday, and I've already done some pre-looking around, and I've got a nice list to show you today. I'm excited about this, so let's get going. So this is where I do all of my work. I keep my list over here. This is from TD Ameritrade. It's Thinkorswim. It's absolutely free. Just sign up with them and they'll give you the link. No, you don't even have to trade with them. Just get the link, download it and use it. Keep your account with them though. This list is the one we generated yesterday. Could have been a lot bigger. As I said, I dismissed a lot of stocks that were moving today, and most of these did not keep their gains. We had some bouncers, I'll show them to you, but for the most part, it was depressing until the last 5 minutes of the day. That's right, folks. This one at the top, VHLD, was doing absolutely nothing all day till 3:55. This is the 5-day, 5-minute chart. It took one bounce with one transaction, and it moved all the way up here to 85 cents from its low of the day before, which is why we looked at this. But we were also looking at this because it had the most remarkable float I have seen, 208,000 shares. You heard me right. Less than a million, 208,000. And with that few shares and the way it was set up on the low of the bounce, it just looked like it was ready to go back up. But it went a little higher than I thought it was going to go. Yes, it did. I won't lie about that. However, it did it, and I don't think it was really one you were going to catch. But to be able to identify a stock that's going to move is the first step in being able to catch big game. So we at least recognize the footprints and we're on its trail. HPIL, it had a bounce today. It had some news come out that they got $10 million to use at their discretion. They've got this Apogee D7 concept car that never needs charging. Now, the never need charging isn't concept. That's factual, actual science that everyone says doesn't exist. They say it does, and they're patenting it right now. Now, what's a EV car going to be worth that never needs to be plugged in, never runs out of power as long as it's being used? So we put that on our list because they're about ready to go current. They did have the news, and they have hot tech. I'm keeping it on my list. I own it, and I may buy some more. Once they go current, I expect the attitude on this stock to change. TGMR, SNGY are both expert market plays. These are companies that got yanked off the market because they didn't keep up with their filings and didn't get them put in by the deadline. So now they're in time out, and so is everybody's investment until they come back on the market. They're not delisted. They just can't be traded until they get their filings in. So once they come back on market, there are some huge bounces. And one of these has a potential of 1,000,000%. Yes, you heard me right again. That has a potential of 1,000,000%. We don't expect that to hit, but on the low end, we expect about 70 to 75,000%. So I'm keeping those on my list, but those you've got to get into as soon as they come back on the market. As soon as the door opens in the store and the Tickle Me Elmo version 12 comes out, you better be at the front of the door if you want to get one, because there's only so many of them. HDII. This one had a jump beyond where we thought it was going to go. It just didn't hold it, but it gave it. And I want to come down to the 1 minute, because we only see one bar there. How long did that last? That's it. 1 minute, folks. 1 minute. Now, we looked at this. It was right down here. Let me come out on the 6-month, 4-hour chart. Zoom in on that. Now, we were just here. We had drawn a support line across all of these. We could see the price like to come here and turn around and go back. So that was a resistance, and we expected it to get past that right there, and that's what it did do. We didn't expect it. It had done it. So we expected, because it had broke that, it was going to continue. And I had drawn another support based on here, not being greedy, just saying it should at least reach this one. So we put that in there, and it overshot it. We grabbed more than was expected. But again, this was a very short-lived play. Coming down, well, even the 1 minute looks like that. It's just easier to see on the 5-minute candle. She did jump all the way from down here in 1 minute, and that was from just under 2 cents to about 2.7 cents. And it came down and fell just about where it was the day before. So is it going to do it again? Well, we need to check and see if the catalysts are still the same on it. But there is still a likelihood, if it's come right back down to where it was, that it's going to go right back up to where it was again. So we may end up keeping that on our list along with the two others. And TGRO was a sympathy play. Because of the big oil thing yesterday, it had some movement. So we were just watching it today to see if there would be any more given to it for oil. No, that wave passed us. We're going to have to find another beach to go to. That's how it all settled out. So let's go jump into some DD that I've already precursored for us. I found some pretty nice ones tonight, and I'm ready to show them to you right now. All right, folks, I am at OTCmarkets.com. It is the #1 site to go to if you're looking into OTC stocks, because it's not here to monitor your clicks or try to sell you something. It's here for the investors. FINRA and the SEC put all their information here, the filings, the stock information, lots of news, and lots of information you won't find other places. And it's all current, legit, not hyped. That's why I come here. So I do lots of different things here between the current market and news. I'm going to jump over to the news right now. Not that I'm looking at news, but on this page you do have news, and I've been going through it. I come all the way down here to financial reports, and I look for companies right now that are filing to go current. So I'm primarily looking at yield signs. These companies haven't been filing their disclosures on time, and they're in jeopardy of being pulled off the market to the expert market. That is a place where you're in timeout and you can't trade your stock, sell or buy, and your investment's in limbo indefinitely until they get back on the market. And when they come back on the market, there are some huge bounces. These are some of the biggest bounces I've ever seen. So that's my primary focus each day before I go looking any further. Now, I've already gone through a bunch of these, and I'll be honest, I did this about 30 minutes before the bell rang. So I see up here at the top, we do have some more yield signs that I have not had the time to jump into this evening. So you may want to do what you see me doing and see if these guys belong on your list too. I don't want you to miss anything because I'm slack. All right, I have already found one that I think is quite interesting down here. ATHC. They have just filed a couple today. So let's go over there and take a look at their stock. This is Accelerated Technologies Holding Corporation. They're currently at 45 cents, and it went up 125% today. Now, I did notice on the advancers, it only had 2 trades today. That's right. Here you can see how many trades every stock had. Isn't that good information? But this only had 2 trades to do that, 125%. But we're not worried about that right now. This is Pink Limited. We expect them to go current, which is going to be a big deal. It will give them a good bump, could be a large surge. We don't know. You can see they've got quite a lot of filings that they have been putting in here recently, trying to catch up 2019, 2020, 2021. What we don't see here is an attorney letter. The Pink disclosures do not use CPAs. They're not audited. They just give us numbers and we take their word for it. That's why they're Pinks. They're not as transparent as the QBs, which are better stocks, and the QX, which are the best stocks. So an attorney letter comes in place of a CPA stamp and it says it's legal, you guys can use it. Once that goes in, they'll probably go current. Now, is that the only reason I'm looking at them? Heck no. Not when you've only got 2 trades. There's got to be something else going. Okay, first, let's look at the volume. They have an average volume each day of about 1.8 thousand shares. Very thin. But they're about 300% over today. They're at 5,000. I realize it's not a big number, but we see interest and the stock is moving. And on the OTC market, when a bear starts to move, get out of its way. You don't know if it's just rolling over or it's awake. So we watch these. Is that all? No, 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 no. Security details. This is where you can see the share structure. 400 million in the full authorized shares in the bank. 11 million. 11 million is all they have on the market. And look. I don't know if it's 758,000 or if it's 553,000. Either way, folks, that's under 1 million shares. This thing could blow up. So I like the share count. I like the fact they're about ready to go current. I like the fact the volume is increasing. Even though it's not a lot, it's moving. So let's go look at the chart and see what it's telling us. Okay, so back at Think or Swim, we have the 4-hour 6-month, 5-minute, 5-day. It is very, very thinly traded. Remember that. So these are bouncers. They bounce from here, they bounce to there. It can be very tricky getting into these sort of plays. However, when it goes current, there could be more action. That's when the game could start. Now, I do believe it's at a high right now. It needs to dip back. You need to let it fall. But you can see if we come in on the 6-month, 4-hour, this jump right here, that's a 100% jump right there, folks. These are 4-hour bars, so it jumped 100% in 4 hours. That's about 30% there. God only knows what this one was, but that was a huge jump too. It doesn't show a lot of volume, right? And it just hit a low bubble back here. So I would wait for this to dip. And when it comes down to about, it looks about 10 cents, maybe even 14 cents would be a good time to get into this. And then watch it bounce up to, well, it's at 45 cents and it went to 85 cents. Not a tremendous bounce, but when it goes current, we have no telling what these are going to do. And because this has such an extremely low float, you can get some extremely large bounces. So we're going to take this, and it may not run tomorrow. It may not be one of those plays, but folks, I advise you to keep a low float list. These things are gold gems just waiting to be polished, and you might as well have them in your bag when they start to polish up and cash in on them. So ATHC is going on the list just because I like that float and I don't want to lose it. The next one we're taking a look at on the financial filing section still is NXMR. As you can see, it has had quite a lot of filings. It is working hard to go current, and it's a double diamond. This is one of those that is not on the market. You can't buy it now. You're going to have to wait till they come on the market, which means you have to monitor it. If you come back 4 hours later after it's come on the market, it's over. You've done missed the rush. The door's open and Tickle Me Elmos are gone. So you've got to be watching this as it goes on. And we don't know when that's going to be. So yes, it's very tricky. But that's where we got our 89,000 jump the other time, just last week. We were looking for something to come onto the market. So let's go take a look at NXMR. Let's see what we can learn about it. Nextmart Inc., they are dark and defunct. They do have a transfer agent, and they are considered a shell company. Not making any money. What sort of volume did they have today? Looks like they've had absolutely no volume. Not in a while. And what about security details, meaning their share structure? Well, it says they've got approximately 40 million shares out of 750 million shares in the bank and 374 on the market. It's not a bad float. 40 million is not a bad float at all. Not exciting though. Not a precursor, obviously, to why I would invest in this. Not invest, play. This is why we're looking at it. All of these brought in today. All of them. 2019, 2020, 2021, the quarterly reports right up to now. And if you come in on these are called pink disclosures, and these are right there. These are unaudited. So you're going to need an attorney letter to make this information they've just brought in valid. So we need one more piece to the puzzle, and this could boom. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know how much it could get. Let's go take a look at the chart and see what it tells us. Well, for some reason, I see action today. Even though we saw no volume, obviously there is volume today. It wasn't tremendous. There wasn't a wildness going today. I'm not quite sure why it's trading if it's on the expert market. Really. But this is what happened with the last one that went crazy with 89,000% gains. I came and looked at it, and it looked like it had been trading every single day, so I couldn't figure out why. But all the other earmarkings were there, so we put it on the list, and voila, it ran. As you look over here, folks, there's a lot of green. You see all that green? This rises more than it falls, and those are huge bounces. I want to come in on that a little bit so that you can see what we're looking at. Okay. This bounce right here from 33 to 12, that's about 250% gains right there, folks. That bounce right there. This bounce here, we're looking at 24 down to 12. That's 100% gain. So we have lots of 100% bounces in here, off market and pre-market aftermarket. You can see this is active. And these are getting to be huger bounces right now, and it's... You know, I don't understand exactly how this is working. I got to be honest with you. I see the date is 10/5 that this sold. But it didn't look like it sold over there. And you can see we're at a big high right now. But it says there's still expert market. So I'm a little confused on this. I do see that it has potential, but I'm wondering if the potential has been popped. When they update these stocks from expert to limited or pink, there is a lag for all of the systems to change at the same time. So when you're looking at one thing and looking at another, the information doesn't correlate, and it can be confusing. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm a little confused. However, where are we at right now in the price? 35. So it is very high right now. Right now is not where I would expect it to bounce from. I would expect it to bounce from down here at 001. That's where I would expect it. Well, actually, that's 1 penny. So this would have to fall, but again, it is supposed to be going current, and I'm not quite sure this is actually going to be a play for us, but I'm curious to learn. Everything I learn comes in handy later, and I want to watch this stock tomorrow to see exactly what goes on with it, since everything over in the OTC market shows it as one thing, but the charts are showing it as another. Back to the same list, you can see NXMR here. I'm jumping down here to ZAG, Z-A-A-G. They just had their attorney letter come out today. Now I'm not expecting thousands of percent gains on these yield signs going current. I'm expecting 50, 100, you know, somewhere in there, but those are good gains, folks. Don't turn away from 50 and 100% because I keep bringing 1,000% to the table. These are probably more available to actually get than those huge ones. So let's go take a look at ZAG. ZAG is at a real nice price right now, just about a penny and a third. You know, it hits over 2 cents, you've doubled your money. You know, it hits 4 cents, you've tripled your money. That's pretty easy gains right there. The reason we're here is because they have filed their attorney letter today. They had all their other reports for 2021 and 2020 all come in. Let's see what period this letter covers. Does it cover all of those? Yes, it does. For the periods of June 30th, 2021, March 30th, 2021, December 2020, December 2019. Yes. So this letter covers all of them. Sometimes you will actually see a separate attorney letter for each period. That's all of them. So it's actually got every piece on the table. All we have to see is that goes pink. Let's see what the share structure looks like here. A billion shares, 176 million. It's not a great share count, but it's not out of this world. And volume was increased today on that new filing. About 30% maybe. So let's go see now, I'm anxious, let's go see now what the chart looks like for ZAG. All right, ZAG has had a change just after hours. Originally she was up here, as I said, just over a penny, but she fell and she is now down here at just over 0.008. So now just getting back to where she was, you've got yourself a gain of from 8 to 13. Well, that's over 50%. That's over 50%. Just getting back to there, which is very likely. Now, once she goes current, this couldn't, that could just be a roadblock. I mean, it could come up to here, but that's a long ways up, folks. That's way up there. But we have seen jumps that went to the moon, literally. So I'm not surprised at anything right now. So it's had a big dip. It opens up a door of opportunity for us. It doesn't have a lot of promise. There's nothing here that really sets up. There's not a super low float. It's just that she has all of her filings in, and going current in itself can cause a stock to bump. So we're going to throw ZAG on here because she has covered that base totally. Now this next stock I found over here under current markets. This brings you to the most active stocks over the entire OTC market. Every single one of them, it'll show you the top dollar gainers. You can see how much money was thrown at your company, how many shares were bought, which is how most people like to search. And then my favorite way to search is for trades. I like to see how many people are trading a stock. Now, this doesn't actually tell us people, it tells us trades, but I don't presume that one person traded 2,739 trades. I presume that's at least 2,000 people, and that's a crowd, and that's what I'm looking for, because where there's lots of people, there's lots of money, and normally you get price action. Now I come down here where I can just look at the stocks that have the biggest gains, and you can look for these over $1, over a nickel, or you can look at all the stocks. I like to look at all of them because, well, I don't want to miss anything. Now over here, I've already found one. I've been going through these, checking them, looking. Yeah, would you believe most of these have nothing that was really interesting until I came to this one. Nspx, they did do 2,394 trades. Figure 2,000 people, right? That's a crowd. Over 500 million shares. Over, well, almost $2 million thrown at the company today. And they did 87% gains. And they're pink. They're pink. So let's go take a look at this company and see what they're about. Now this next stock I found over here on the current market tab right here. This takes you to the most active stocks over the entire OTC market, all of them. And you can find what it is you're looking for here if you're interested in how much money was thrown at your company today, how many shares were bought, or how many trades. Now me personally, I come here for the trade information specifically. I equate that to people. Now I know it's not one-to-one, but I know that right there, those 2,700 trades weren't made by one person. There's probably 2,000 people at least trading there, so that's what I'm looking for. A crowd, lots of people, lots of money, lots of price action, normally. So I come down here to only the advancers. This shows me the biggest gainers across the entire market, whether I'm looking at stocks over $1, over a nickel, or all of them. I prefer to look at all of them because I don't want to miss anything. Now I did find one after going through all of these, going down and down, looking and looking. I couldn't find a lot, but I did find this one. And actually I had to go over to Twitter to get some solid information about it. There wasn't a lot that I could find except the 8K. There is 2,394 trades today. That caught my attention. Big number, at least 2,000 people, right? over a 500 million shares, almost 2 million thrown at the company. You got to take a company like this seriously, or at least a stock. 87% gain. So let's go take a look at what this company is. Nspx, Inspire, Therapeutics. They are just under 004. They are pink current. They say they're a shell risk, saying that they're not making any money right now. You can see they have had a huge jump in volume, a huge dynamic jump. Here they were at just under 10 million shares, and now they're over a 500 million. So there was a lot of attention and a lot of shares moving today. That's why we're looking at this. Let's see what else we can gather from this. We go to the overview, see if we have any filings or news that may have worked. No news since 2017, which is surprising. But we saw news yesterday on HPIL on an 8K, just like this, that was not released in the press. Today, 12 hours later, it came out in the press. So if you're reading 8Ks as a habit, you're getting information before a lot of people because the press comes out after the filing. This came out today. What it basically says, and this is a big 8K, normally they're very small, but the whole point to this one is there is a merger. Inspire Therapeutics is merging with, I do believe it is Rebus Sub, Rebus Sub Holdings. And the two companies are coming together. And that's the whole big deal. Now, I haven't done a lot of DD. I did pick up a few tidbits over there at Twitter. But the bottom line is the two companies are coming together and going to start making money. Remember, I told you they were a shell risk. So let's see what the share count is on this, because that always makes a difference in how the stock moves. Not a lot of information here, and I'm not going to go digging it up right now, but we can see the outstanding shares is 543 million. I don't even know what their authorized shares is, which is a little strange. In a foreign company, you may not get that number, but in the US, you normally should. So let's go take a look at the chart and see what it offers up. Nspx, you got your 5-day and you get your 6-month. Obviously, the filing itself, maybe there is a press release. We didn't check. I didn't see one through the day, but press release or not, it got its jump today. Looked like it went over 100%. Yeah, 150% gains on that bounce. And that bounce ended at quarter after 10. So it was a little later. Normally I get out of a big bounce at 10:05. So I would have missed some strong gains there, but I would have had gains. That's for darn sure. It has fallen. Is it going to climb more? You know, I really don't know. I don't know if there was a press release today. Obviously, the news came out early. It did come out early. It looks like it's already taken its jump. I don't know that this is actually going to do any more. I'm not sure why I really brought you over here. I didn't think the merger had done this much already. But that's how fast things happen. As soon as a filing comes out, you can see the people move on these stocks. So waiting for news is waiting for the man to get to second base. You want to try to catch him on first base. You want to catch that filing, not the press release. Learn to get the information as early as you can. You know what they say about the early bird. I know you don't want no worms, but he's got a full belly, and this could fill your wallet. The next one we're going to take a look at, also a runner, had 365 trades today. Obviously not as big as 2,000, but let me tell you, hundreds is what most stocks get on the OTC market, so that is plenty. You did just about 3 million shares, 82% gains. Now, Nuggle had news today. Announces $20 million equity raise to Kea Group joint venture. And that was the catalyst. Kea Venture is a new company that they are launching. They are doing it through a public media company. And that news was big. You go over onto Twitter, there is quite a lot of information going on about this. So let's go take a look at Nuggle so you can see what she is about. She's just about at 7 cents today. Did do 82% gains. Pink current, verified profile. That is checking all the boxes that OTC does that. They do that for us. We know they're good. Transfer agent, your shares are moving legally. Lots of companies don't have a transfer agent, and you end up in trouble. You never want that. So make sure they have a transfer agent verified. What do we got over here for share structure? Woo, woo, look at that, folks. My goodness, they have a quarter billion shares, about 50 million on the open market, about 1/5 of them, and only 21 million shares in the float. That's a very low float, folks. That is very nice to see. Let's see what sort of volume she had today. Holy cow, look at that. Talk about the interest in his joint venture in cannabis. This is all cannabis in case I didn't mention that. They have a daily average of moving just about 30,000 shares. That's it. And today they did almost 3 million. You can see that lots of people makes all the difference. What else can we find out over here? Do they have any more disclosures? They're on time. No. So let's go take a look at the chart. They've got enough boxes ticked here with a very, very low float, high volume, and a joint venture mentioned in the news. Throwing that in, bringing that up. All right, you can see again, this hit early in the morning. It had a big bounce. See over here on the 6 month how big that is. That really jumped far. It hasn't been that high since, that looks to be back in May. May, folks. So that was tremendous news, but that's a joint venture there. Those are always good. Mergers are always good. Is it going to do more? You never know. Now, it looks like it's had its play. When you see a big surge, what I like to do is go from the bottom of the surge to the top of it, where it stops, and draw a center line in the middle. I'm only spitballing here, folks, but it looks about right there. Now, why do I do that? Because any large movement, the middle is a perfect average. And the algorithms on the market work on averages. Everywhere are averages. And the center of anything is a perfect average. So you can count on that becoming a factor in price movement. You can watch things ride around it. Now, I was not looking. I'm probably actually a little high or a little low. But you can see the price is right on that 50%. Now, what does that mean? Normally a surge will fall 50% and hang around the 50% mark if it is a strong stock, if the investors feel good about it and are optimistic, which allows it to get a double bounce. If this comes to the top of this, it'll start to feel optimistic again because the averages will start to push it and you'll get a climb out of this. But if it goes underneath and starts to fall, you know you have a weak stock. And it could fall all the way back right to where it was. So this is a very good sign. You can see it is sitting on the top and hanging down from the bottom, hovering right through here. So I like the setup. It doesn't mean it's over. It doesn't mean it's going to fall. Actually looks like it's going to do the opposite. But is it going to climb? Well, if we look at, and I'm zooming in down here at the MACD and the RSI, they're pretty planted. They do look to have just a little bit of heat pushing them up, but nothing that looks overwhelming or alarming. But because Nuggo is a known company in cannabis and they have a plan with this brand new company that hasn't got a lot of airing yet, things could happen. Cannabis is still a hot sector that is under pressure. So I'm going to put Nuggo over here because, well, one, I'm a cannabis follower. And two, I think it has a chance of doing something. Maybe not tomorrow, but in the next week. And I'm going to watch it. You watch it with me. Now this stock, Global Developments Inc., is Pink Limited, and they just filed a couple weeks ago their first filings in 10 years, which really is what got this thing started. That's all it took. When you look down here for information on it, you can see that there is no news since 2009, and that filing that I was talking about, a couple of those just came in, and that is all they have had. However, when you go over here to Twitter, now first, before I take off, let's see their share structure. All right, we got 324 million out of 6 billion. So they could put a ton of shares on the market and cause some serious dilution. And 324 isn't exactly a great float. But in in OTC, you can see 10 billion in the float. So I'm not going to complain about that. So we've got no news outside of what I found over here at Twitter. Now I'm going to show you a couple things. You come over here to Twitter, you put a $sign up at the top with the ticker, and you will get lots and lots of tidbits of information from thousands of eyeballs looking everywhere, comparing information. And I'm going to show you what they do, and this is why it's moving. Here's some facts about the company. Let me see, 320 million float, no dilution. It is a clean shell, which means it's set up for a reverse merger. It's not got any problems. It's a clean shell. First filings after 10 years. The stop sign was removed. They couldn't trade until it was removed. OTCM changes 7-9, the new address and new directors, so they're updating the business information, a new email, and they say there is a merger play. Now, where would they get that from? Well, up here, they've been doing some homework. Let me see if I can find that right here. All right, they've been doing homework, and this is what DD can do for you. They found out that 76% of all the restricted stock is owned by Intelligia PC's COs. It's a man and a woman. They own something like 62 or 72% of all the restricted stock, something like 528 million shares that they have gotten. Intelligia PC and GDVM share the same address and phone number. Okay, this is what rumors do. Buy on the rumors, sell on the news. In the OTC market, people like to take the address of one company, throw it into Google, and see if any other company is using that address or even the phone number. And lots of times you find two companies are. And then you find they share directors, might even share other things, and they're separate but look to be coming together now. And the same address is the ticket that things are, and I've seen it over and over. I've seen this happen many times, and it works. I used the trick myself. So they have found this, and they have got the information down here. But the point is, they have uncovered information that you didn't find on Google, you didn't find in the news press, you didn't find on the OTC markets. You found listening to people gossiping about the stocks they love. So let's go take a look at the chart and see what it has been doing just on the rumors. All right, GDVM, remember we're not here because it has a great float. We're not here because it has news or filings. We're here because of rumors. I know I've never ever showed you one on rumors, but obviously you've heard buy on the rumor, sell on the news. That has got to have come from the OTC market because we create rumors. I got to tell you that. Now, this 6-month chart over here has really got my attention. That looks to be the largest cup waiting for its handle I have ever seen, except somebody left their teaspoon in it. Wow, that is gigantic. There is your ultimate high for this company for the last 6 months, and we are right back to it. Now, psychologically, people say, well, that's it then. It's hit its high. Folks, think of it as a story. That's one story. We're just going to go to the next story up, you know. Now, the technicals don't show that it's going to grow. It has been on an up growth here for a while. We are on an upswing. Everything looks good. I got to say that. Technically, it does look like it should continue. But we have no catalysts. We have no filings. We have no news. All we have are rumors. And I know rumors pay big. So I am going to throw this in here. Not that it's going to run tomorrow. I am going to have to put all of our lists together because I've got stocks now that we're watching not for one day, but maybe a week, maybe a month. And I'm going to do some homework maybe over the weekend and put some lists together and maybe put a video out just of those lists so that you can catch up with me. So let's get that finished, VM. All right, let's see if I have anything else to show you. I do. Now this next one just kind of fell around me. I haven't found any rumors. I haven't found any news. I haven't found any filings. What I found was a lot of volume. This was found on a volume page. It just showed the big jump of volume today. Their average is 326,000 shares a day. They did 2.7 million. So there's something somewhere, and it could just be that the chart moved. Just technicals made it move. What else is interesting here, though, is their shares. They have, now it says 22 million in the float, 30 million held by DTC. Always look for the highest one. So I would go 30 million here in the float. Super low float, lots of volume moving. That's what people on the OTC market like to trade. So let's go look at the, whoa, I just saw something here I want to show you. Yeah, right there, 311. That's pretty good, folks. That, you would think stocks have thousands and thousands of traders, investors. Most stocks do not. Yes, there's some do, some have thousands, but most stocks only have a couple hundred, sometimes not even 100 investors carrying the entire company. And we're not talking whales, we're just talking investors. This one has 311 as of the earlier part of the year, so I like seeing a bigger number down there. All right, let's go jump over to that chart and see what it shows. Okay, she has definitely been on a downtrend for a long time, 6 months. We can notice, though it's tough to see here, the volume has really kicked up here. In the last couple of weeks, the volume has become, I don't know, 4 times as much as the volume previously. So it's not just been a today thing, it's been going on. Now, we can see there's a lot of bounces here. Let me back this chart out so we can get a few more days onto it. Okay, we've got some huge bounces here, and that comes with a low float. Remember that. Low floats are big bounces. These are 4 hours. No, that's 1 hour, folks. That is 1 hour, and that went from 3 cents from just over 2 cents. So that's a 50% gain in 1 hour. This one here looks to be about 80% gain in 1 hour. You see them over and over again. That's one of the things we really like. You can see this little itty bitty volume here, and now it's starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger. That is a great sign. Volume is what you need if you want prices to move. We don't want one person, we want lots of people. And with a low float, we're going to get some big jumps out of this. Now, I don't know any catalyst to move it. I don't know any rumors to move it. I just know that when it starts moving, people will start getting in on it because of that fact alone. And you might as well be one of them and get some of the money. So I am throwing that up here for all of us to take advantage of. All right, I got 2 more to show you. Or is it 1? We'll see. The biggest thing when you're doing your DD, your due diligence, you need to do research in all sorts of ways. Don't just stick to the same thing over and over. Look in all the different corners. We're now looking at news releases. I found this one down here. Now, I don't know if this excites anybody, but I always like a forward split, not a reverse split. And this was in the news today for UMGP. They were having a 5-to-1 forward split. Now, that was the news. And that's going to bring the price down. Right now it's $1.70, divide it by 5, that's going to be the new price. And for every share you own, you're going to get 5 shares. Now, is there anything else besides that? Yeah, there is, by golly. Look at this float. They have 1 billion shares total in the bank, only 25 million on the market, and only 3.1 million is in the float. Now, maybe it's 5 million, maybe. Either way, I'm quite excited by that. That is a great number to see in the float. So what did its volume look like today? PU, nothing. No extra volume today. Nothing moved on this. Now, the price went up about 7%, but there was no increase. And it's one of those things. Does it make a difference to buy it now and then have the price drop 5? But a lot of people believe that it becomes attractive when you change the price. That's why they do it. Right now, it is at 3.1 million on the float. Multiply that times 5. That's going to increase. It has to increase because there's going to be 5 times more shares in everybody's hands. So we'll be looking at 15 to 25 million in the float at that point. So right now the float is super duper small. Not that 25 million is all that big, but if the stock decided to jump, it has got the right math to make it jump big. Let's go look at the chart and see if it has a habit of jumping big with a low float. Okay, UMGP, Universal Media Group. Yeah, she's got some big jumps, but what she's got is she just came alive. I'm not quite sure. A little more DD will show you, but before the price jumped, and this is a good lesson to learn, before the price jumped, the volume jumped. Look at that volume. I mean, there's nothing here to talk about. That's an inch of snow you're driving on, and this is a 10-foot drift that you can't get past. And boom, the price went right to the volume. Went sideways some more, boom, took another one. Unbelievable. Now this started all the way down here at 18 cents. That first giant boom took it up to $1.51. So you're looking at just about a 800% gain there. And then here it went from about 85 cents up to $3. So you're talking 300% gain with a large number. That's incredible. You can see she does have a habit of bouncing big with a super duper low float. And right now you can see she's been falling. And the bumps are very small. Obviously the volume has gotten smaller. You can see that. But when the volume comes in, this could bounce again. So just because of the low float, the big bounces, and because things are in the air right now, we don't know how it's going to play out with a forward split. I'm just going to put it on the list so I don't miss out on anything. Now the only other one I want to show you tonight, and remember, because I did all this pre-DD just about 30 minutes before the bell rang, maybe about 45 minutes, I didn't get to see all that came on to the news, all that came on to the advancers, all that came on to filings. There is stuff in the last hour that came on that I haven't looked at, and you see what I do. So you can go to the OTC markets and maybe you can find some jewels that I didn't get to see and share with you tonight. Don't let me be the only thing that brings you jewels. You're going to find better ones because you know what you like. There's our list. And it looks pretty bloody good, folks. We got a lot of solid stocks here. They did all have gains today, except, well, even NXMR. I don't know why that's white. Everybody had a gain today. Let's hope for the same thing tomorrow. Now remember, when you're playing an OTC stock, you have to put in a limit order. You cannot buy at market. If you're playing a morning bounce, get out by 10 o'clock. 10:05, the market hesitates. That's where it could dip. You could lose your profit. If it goes over 20%, just take your profit if you're in it for a morning bounce. Why play around? If it starts rushing, of course, try to get as much as you can. But as soon as it falls, hit the market. You can sell at market. You can't buy at market, but you can escape by market. So use your market button to get out of these plays in the morning that are bouncing very quickly. Well, I'm pretty confident with that list. Now remember, we're watching them for tomorrow, but these stocks could hesitate, they could pause, they could have delays, but that doesn't take away the potential. What we need to add is patience. All these P's come into play. So, this list right here is the list we're going to use. Put that on your list, watch them tomorrow. We will come back tomorrow after the day, see how they ran, look at the charts, see what we can learn, and then we'll go bobble around and see what more we can find. Is that long enough for you? Okay, you can always pause, right? Well, I had fun doing this with you folks. I hope that this has been a learning experience for you. I hope you didn't just come for the list. I'm trying to show you how to go mining yourself. You can get your own gold and not depend on me to divvy it out to you. Have a great night. We'll look at you tomorrow. You'll look at me too if I give you a video, right? Remember, folks, the more you know, the more you grow. See ya.